Night fell upon the village of Ngolo like a veil of trembling shadows. The drum beats that usually warmed the dark now refused to sound. Because on this night, this unforgettable, unspoken, terrifying night, a child's scream tore through the silence. A mother's desperate footsteps followed, and behind her, something else moved, something that clicked against the earth like bone against stone. The villagers whispered, "The boy is cursed. The boy carries the horn of spirits, and a tale that drinks life." No one truly knew what had happened in the forest earlier. No one except the mother who ran, holding her boy tight against her chest, his body fever-hot, his eyes glowing like dying embers, and the long dark tail behind him dragging through the dust as though it had a mind of its own. What the village did know, what every soul felt tightening around their hearts, was that a villager had died, and the only witness was the boy with the mysterious horn on his forehead, and the tale that whispered like wind in a graveyard. The tale you are about to hear is the story of how fear grows, how love resists, and how destiny can hunt even the innocent. Before we continue, if this story already has you hooked, don't forget to like, comment, and share. Every tap helps this channel grow. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe. More powerful African folktales are coming. Let's begin. The rains came early that season, heavy, swollen with the weight of something unseen. Mbala, a widowed mother of fierce spirit, felt the tension in the air long before the storm broke. Inside her small hut woven of reeds and old blessings, she watched her newborn son sleeping. But his sleep was not like other children's. His breaths were shallow, too measured, as though he were listening even in slumber. When lightning cracked open the sky, the child stirred. And then the strange thing happened. The thing Bala would hide for years. From a baby's forehead, beneath the soft curls, a small ridge pushed forward. Not bone, not skin, something in between. A horn, tiny, smooth, glinting faintly like polished ebony. At the same time, she felt the mat beneath the child shift as a thin, dark tail unfurled from his lower spine, curling like smoke awakened from a long dream. Mbala froze, hands trembling. Yet instead of fear, she felt a rush of fierce protection. My child is still mine." But the storm outside roared as if the spirits themselves argued over this birth. Thunder stomped across the sky, and the elders later claimed they felt their hearth fires flicker, something they said only happened when a boundary between worlds thinned. The boy, whom she named Kamau, opened his eyes for the first time, glowing ember red for only a moment before softening into brown. And Mbala whispered to him, "You will be safe. You must be safe, no matter what the spirits say." Years passed, but secrets have legs, and the truth has wings. As Kamau grew, Mbala wrapped his tail tightly beneath cloth, binding it with charm beads shaped like dried moon tears. She kept his small horn covered beneath a carved leather headband, claiming it was a traditional blessing against the evil eye. Most villagers believed her. Most, but not all. Old Mama Kija, the village midwife, watched Kamau with eyes sharp as cracked granite. She had seen many births, but none that carried such energy. Each time Kamau walked past, the gourds on her shelf rattled ever so slightly, as though greeting him or fearing him, she could not tell. Children whispered behind him, "Why does he walk so quietly, as if the ground listens? Why does grass bend under his feet, even without wind?" But Kamau never seemed to notice. He was gentle, soft-spoken, a boy who loved stories and rivers and the warmth of his mother's laughter. Still, odd things happened. Birds perched on rooftops when he passed. Dogs avoided him, whimpering. The old shrine's wooden masks turned slightly, only slightly, whenever he came too close. Mbala prayed each night, "Let his nature remain hidden. Let the world never see what he carries." Yet the spirits seemed restless, and Mama Kija began telling elders that a darkness brewed in the boy's bones, that he was not fully of this earth, that one day, something inside him would wake. Children are curious by nature, and destiny is a playful hunter. One sun-heavy afternoon, Kamau played near the edge of the forest where forbidden roots twisted like sleeping serpents. He often felt pulled there, a quiet tug beneath his skin. A villager named Duma, older and reckless, spotted him. Duma had always disliked the boy. He believed Mbala practiced secret magic, that her child was born of spirits that had once punished his own ancestors. He approached with a sneer. "Remove your headband, boy. Let me see your strange charm." Kamau backed away, heart pounding. No, my mother said never to. Duma grabbed him. The moment his fingers brushed Kamau's tail beneath the cloth wrap, everything changed. The tail unwound violently. Alive, instinctive, swift, like a whip forged from storm shadows. It struck with a sickening crack. Duma collapsed instantly, eyes wide, body still. Kamau stared in horror at the man, lying twisted in the grass. I didn't mean to. I didn't. His tail curled behind him, shivering like a frightened animal. Birds burst from trees. The forest exhaled sharply. And from somewhere deep within the earth, a growl of ancient approval seemed to echo. Kamau ran home, sobbing. But fate had already marked that moment. A witness had seen everything, and the village would never be the same. When villagers found Duma's body, cold, unmoving, with no mark except a strange welt on his neck, shaped like a crescent moon's bite, fear spread like wildfire. The witness, a young herder, told them what he saw. The boy, Mbala's boy, his tail struck him, a tail that moved like a demon's serpent. The elders gathered beneath the baobab, drums stilled, air trembling with dread. Mama Kija nodded grimly. I warned you. That child holds the spirit curse. He will bring ruin. Mbala arrived, cradling Kamau, who wouldn't stop shaking. He didn't mean harm. The man attacked him. He is only a child, but fear deafened reason. One elder pointed at Kamau's hidden horn beneath the headband. Remove the covering. Mbala stepped back protectively. No, then the boy hides wickedness. Voices rose like a storm of spears. Send him away. Bind him. Let the spirits claim him before more die. Kamau cried out, I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't know why this happens. But his words fell into the abyss of their terror. Only one elder, Old Jim, spoke softly. Sometimes a gift looks like a curse when fear blinds us. Let's not rush judgment. But Mama Kija hissed, and when next his tail chooses another victim, will your old wisdom save us? Mbala clutched her son tighter. The village had become a place of knives pointed in every direction. When dusk fell, carrying the scent of rain and fate, Mbala made a decision many mothers would not survive making. She packed only what she could carry: dried cassava, a water gourd, a charm of protection, and wrapped Kamau in a cloak thick enough to hide his trembling tail. You must trust me. We must leave before dawn. Kamau sniffled. Because they think I'm a monster? Mbala kissed his forehead gently. You are my child, and a child cannot be a monster. As drums began to beat a warning rhythm from the village center, calling all able villagers to gather and discuss the boy's fate, Mbala slipped into the forest, holding Kamau's hand tightly. The night was alive with eerie murmurs, shadows pressing close. The spirits stirred by the boy's presence. At one point, they heard voices behind them, villagers searching with torches. Mbala pushed Kamau behind a tree, whispering, Do not breathe loudly. The night hides us only if we remain calm. Kamau's horn tingled beneath its covering. His tail curled defensively, alive with instinct. He whispered, Mama, something is following us. Not the villagers, something else. Mbala felt it too. The forest watched them, as if ancient eyes judged whether Kamau was child or omen. When the torches faded, she pulled him close and whispered into the trembling dark. We must keep moving. Destiny is awake, and it is hunting us. The deeper Mbala and Kamau ventured into the forest, the stranger the air became. Leaves rustled without wind, and every step seemed to echo longer than it should, as though the ground repeated their journey, whispering it to the trees. Kamau felt a tug beneath his skin, gentle yet insistent. Mama, the forest knows me. Mbala squeezed his hand. Forests don't know people. They only remember footsteps. But even as she said it, she wasn't sure. A soft humming rose from somewhere ahead, low, mournful, ancient. Fireflies floated in swirling patterns, moving like dancers in a ritual far older than Golo village. They circled Kamau, lighting the curve of his hidden horn, making it glow faintly beneath its covering. His tail shivered and uncoiled slightly beneath the cloak, as if greeting the light. Mbala pulled him back sharply. No, stay close. But Kamau whispered, They're calling my name. The humming grew louder, shaping itself into something like a chant. Omooni, child of crossing, child of dusk. The words slipped between the trees like silk threads, and Mbala felt her heart pound. "No spirit calls my child," she said fiercely, gripping Kamau tighter. Suddenly, a figure stepped from behind an ancient Irako tree, tall, wrapped in shadow bark and moss. Its face was hidden behind a wooden mask carved with spirals that pulsed faintly. Kamau felt the air tighten. Bala raised her staff defensively. The figure spoke slowly. "You bring the boy of the horn and the tail, the one foretold." The towering figure did not move closer, yet its presence expanded, filling the clearing as though the night itself bowed around it. The mask's carved spirals glowed with a muted green light, alive, ancient, patient. Bala stood between Kamau and the masked being. "Spirit or man, you will not take my child." The figure tilted its head gently. "Take? No, such is not my purpose. I am Nduka, keeper of the Irako Veil. I guard the boundary between the seen and the unseen, between children born of flesh and children touched by spirits." Kamau stepped slightly forward despite his mother's grip. "Are you saying I'm not human?" Nduka's voice rumbled like distant thunder. "Human, yes, but also more. You were marked by the forgotten spirits of the rift, the ones who walked the earth before names existed." Bala shook her head fiercely. "My son was born in pain and blood like any other. No spirits claimed him." Nduka responded softly. "A mother's love blinds her, but that is its strength." He reached out a hand, made of bark and mist. Kamau felt a strange pull toward him, as if his horn tingled with recognition, as if his tail whispered, "This one knows us." But Mbala stepped sharply in front of him again. "You speak of prophecy, of curses, of marks, but all I see is a boy who wants to live." Nduka's mask dimmed. "Then listen carefully. The villagers hunt him because fear is their master. But something far older than fear hunts him too. Something awakening, drawn by his power. You cannot outrun it, but you can learn to face it." The trees creaked ominously, as though agreeing. Kamau shivered. "What is hunting me?" Nduka's answer came like a breath of cold mist. The shadow taker, awoken by blood. A howl tore through the forest. Hi, chilling, layered with voices that did not belong to any animal. Kamau clung to Mbala as the humming fireflies scattered like frightened sparks. Nduka's mask suddenly glowed brighter. "There's no more time. The shadow taker has sensed the boy's awakening. You must leave the lower paths. Follow the ridge until you find the 3 stone sisters, then cross into the echo grounds." Bala shook her head. "I will not run from something whose name even spirits fear." Nduka's voice deepened. "Bravery without wisdom becomes doom, and the shadow taker feeds on doom." The howl rose again, closer this time. The very ground trembled. Kamau felt his tail uncoil fully beneath his cloak, reacting to the unseen presence. His horn throbbed under its covering. "Mama, something is coming. It feels like hunger." Nduka stepped back into the shadows. "Go. The boy's tail will act on instinct. Do not fight it. It was made not for harm, but for protection." Bala grabbed Kamau's hand, heart thundering. They ran, branches slapping their faces, roots grasping at their ankles. Behind them, the forest darkened unnaturally, as though a hole were opening in the night itself. A whisper echoed from everywhere and nowhere. "Child of crossing, child of dusk, I smell your fear." Kamau stumbled. His tail lashed out, cutting a vine before it tripped him. Mbala dragged him forward. "Do not listen. Do not look back." But as they reached a rocky rise, Kamau couldn't resist one glance. And he saw it. A shape with no face, no skin, only shifting smoke and jaws of dripping darkness, crawling between the trees like hunger given form. The shadow taker had found them. Mbala half-carried Kamau as they reached the ridge. Moonlight revealed 3 towering stones standing like ancient women draped in veils, cracked, solemn, silent. The air around them hummed with energy that made Kamau's horn itch. Behind them, the shadow taker's growls climbed the rocks. Mbala gasped for breath. Nduka said to cross through. But where? Kamau stepped toward the stones. His tail flicked sharply, pointing, almost guiding him. He placed his hand on the middle stone. Instantly, The carvings on its surface pulsed with life, glowing blue-white as though remembering an old duty. Wind spiraled around him. Bala reached for him. "Kamau, wait." But the moment her fingers brushed him, a shock wave surged outward. The ground split open between the stones, revealing a shimmering doorway of trembling light. Kamau felt pulled toward it. "Mama, I think we're supposed to enter." Bala hesitated only a moment before nodding. "If it means keeping you safe, we go together." But just as they stepped toward the threshold, the shadow taker lunged onto the ridge, its form unfurling like a cloak made of despair. Its hollow voice hissed, "Give me the boy." Kamau's tail snapped defensively. His horn glowed through its covering. The stones answered with a rumble like distant thunder. Bala shoved Kamau forward. Through the doorway now, the shadow taker leapt, but the middle stone flared brightly, releasing a blast of energy that forced the creature back. Kamau and Bala crossed the shimmering veil, and the world behind them vanished in a burst of white-blue light. Silence. A silence so thick, so total, that it felt like another world breathing slowly. Kamau blinked. The sky above was neither day nor night, washed in swirling colors like spilled memories. The ground was soft, echoing each step twice, once in sound, and once in a strange vibration beneath their feet. "Mama," Kamau whispered, "where are we?" Bala exhaled shakily. This must be the Echo Grounds, a place between worlds. She looked around, gripping her son's shoulders. Trees hovered slightly above the earth. Rivers flowed upward instead of downward, and distant mountains pulsed like heartbeats. Everything seemed to remember what it once was and what it might become. Kamau felt strangely calm. The itching of his horn stopped. His tail settled gently behind him. He whispered, "Mama, this place feels like I belong." Bala brushed his cheek. "You belong with me, wherever that is." But as they began to walk, the ground shifted, forming swirling paths ahead of them, each glowing with different colors. One pulsed red like embers, another green like old wisdom, another gold like dawn. A voice echoed, not threatening, not gentle, simply present. "Choose your path, child of crossing. Each leads to truth, but truth has many faces." Bala looked around nervously. "Who speaks? Show yourself." No figure appeared. Kamau felt a pull toward the ember-red path. "Mama, I think we must follow that one." Before she could answer, the red path brightened, and deep in the swirling sky above, thunder cracked as though something powerful sensed their arrival. The Echo Grounds had accepted them, but acceptance did not mean safety. Kamau and Bala stepped onto the ember-lit path, the ground warming beneath their feet as though they walked across the breath of a slumbering giant. The air thickened, heavy with unspoken memories. Flames flickered within the swirling sky, forming shapes that rose, fell, dissolved again. Kamau's horn glowed softly in response. Bala tightened her grip on his hand. "Stay close. This place tests those who wander it." Kamau nodded, but he felt something calling him, low, rhythmic, ancient. As they walked, fiery silhouettes began forming on both sides of the path, figures made of smoke and ember sparks. Some looked human, others looked like creatures of forgotten folklore. Horned guardians, tail-bearing warriors, beings that seemed carved from fire itself. Kamau stopped walking. His breath caught. "Mama, they look like me." Bala stared, trembling. "No, they cannot be. These are just illusions." But one figure, tall, with a single horn and a serpent-like tail, stepped forward. The flames forming its body flickered, reshaping into something clearer, almost solid. It spoke in a voice like crackling firewood. "Kamau, child born a crossing, we knew you would come. You're not cursed. You are the last of our line." Bala pulled Kamau behind her. "Do not speak to him. My son owes you nothing." The ember being tilted its head. "The mother is strong, but strength cannot change blood." Kamau's tail twitched, responding to the presence before him. He whispered, shaken, "Mama, what if this is the truth?" But before Bala could answer, the ember being lifted a hand, and the fire around them surged, forming a doorway of flame. "Enter," it said, "and see what was hidden from you." The moment Kamau stepped through the flame doorway, dragging a fearful Mbala beside him, the world dissolved into smoke and color. They fell, but not downward. It felt like falling inward, deeper into memory. The smoke thinned, revealing a vast plain burning with dim spirit light. Dozens of horned, tail-bearing beings walked in solemn procession. They were neither demons nor beasts, more like guardians, their bodies shaped by light and shadow. Kamau gasped, "Mama, they're real." Mbala could only stare, heart pounding against her ribs. "What are they?" A voice answered from behind them, calm, sorrowful. "Our people were once protectors of the boundary between life and spirit. Those with horn and tail were born to keep balance. But long ago, humans feared us, hunted us, drove us into extinction. A vision unfolded, villages burning, warriors striking down horned beings, terrified mothers shielding their children, tails curling around them defensively." Kamau's eyes filled with tears. "They were like me, and they were killed." The voice continued, heavy with grief. "One survived, a guardian who hid among humans. Your father." Mbala staggered. "No, Kamau's father died before he was born. He was a fisherman." The vision shifted again. A man she recognized. Kamau's father stood at the edge of a river, his horn concealed beneath cloth, his tail hidden in the water. He looked toward the forest with sorrow, whispering, "I pray my child never carries my curse nor my duty." Kamau's chest tightened. "Mama, he was one of them." Mbala began to tremble. She had loved Kamau's father, trusted him, never imagining the truth. The voice concluded, "The boy is half human, half guardian. His power awakens because a great imbalance stirs. The Shadow Taker hunts him because he alone can stop it." Kamau whispered to his mother, "Then this was always my destiny." The vision faded into drifting embers. Kamau and Mbala found themselves once again on the ember path, breathless and shaken. Mbala wiped tears from her eyes before they fell. "No, I do not accept this," she whispered fiercely. "You are my son, not a guardian spirit, not a weapon, not some prophecy's child." Kamau swallowed, voice trembling. "Mama, I'm still me. But if the Shadow Taker wants to destroy the world of humans and spirits, maybe I'm meant to stop it." She grabbed his shoulders. "You are meant to live, nothing more." Before he could answer, the ground beneath them rumbled. The ember path cracked, and fire seeped through the splits like molten truth. A voice emerged from the flames, one that was neither spirit nor human. "Deny fate, and fate will answer with loss." A pillar of fire surged upward, revealing the Shadow Taker's form twisting within it, clawing through dimensions. It hissed, "Child of dusk, you cannot hide behind your mother forever." Kamau flinched, his tail bristling violently. Mbala stepped in front of him instinctively. "Leave him," she shouted. "He is only a boy." The Shadow Taker laughed, a sound like collapsing bones. "He is the key. Without him, the boundary falls. Give him to me." Kamau's horn pulsed beneath the headband. Heat radiated from it, growing stronger, brighter, uncontrollable. "Mama, I feel something waking inside me." Mbala held him tightly. "I'm here. I won't let you change." But destiny had begun to stir, and it would not wait for her permission. Kamau groaned as a surge of energy shot through his body, hot, violent, ancient. His tail lashed out, striking the ground with enough force to send sparks flying. The headband around his horn began to smoke. "Mama, it hurts." Mbala held him as though she could hold back a storm. "Fight it. Stay with me." But nature, spirit, blood, all awaken at once. A shockwave burst from Kamau, flinging Mbala backward and cracking the ember path for meters. Ember figures watching from the sidelines fell to their knees in reverence. Kamau rose, trembling. The headband snapped and fell. His horn, longer now, more defined, gleamed like polished obsidian streaked with firelight. His tail unfurled fully, thicker, stronger, alive with power. Mbala crawled toward him, eyes wide. "Kamau, my child." He turned to her, eyes glowing ember red, not with malice but with awakened fire. "I'm still me, Mama, but I feel everything now. The spirits, the fear, the Shadow Taker." The creature itself clawed forward from the flames, snarling. At last, the boy becomes what he was meant to be. Kamau stepped protectively in front of his mother, tail whipping the air like a blade. "No, I won't let you hurt her, or anyone." The Shadow Taker lunged, but Kamau struck first. His tail hit the creature with a force that sent ripples across the echo grounds, bending landscapes. His horn glowed brighter, gathering energy. Mbala watched in awe and fear. Her son was no longer hiding who he was, and destiny had fully awakened. As Kamau pushed back the Shadow Taker with newly awakened force, the echo grounds responded. Trees hovered higher. Rivers glowed gold. The sky folded like a shuddering fabric. Then everything froze. A booming presence filled the air, larger than Induka, older than the Guardian lineage, older even than the Shadow Taker. A voice spoke from everywhere at once. Enough! The Shadow Taker screeched, shrinking back. Kamau stumbled as the ground softened beneath him. Mbala crawled to reach her son, pulling him into her arms. From the sky descended a towering figure made of shifting light. Neither man, nor beast, nor spirit, but all of them. Its form moved like water, flame, shadow, memory. I am Ekra, it said, the heart of the echo grounds, keeper of balance across worlds. Kamau stared in awe. Mbala bowed her head instinctively. Ekra continued. Kamau, child of the Lost Guardians, your awakening shakes the boundary. But you are not yet ready to face the darkness alone. The Shadow Taker growled. He belongs to me. His power is mine by right. Ekra's voice thundered. Silence. A wave of force crushed the Shadow Taker into the ground temporarily. Ekra turned to Kamau. You must complete the rite of true form, or your power will devour you and all you hold dear. Mbala tightened her embrace. Will it hurt him? Ekra's swirling form dimmed. Greatly, but not as much as being unprepared. Kamau swallowed hard. I will do it, if it means protecting Mama and the village, even the ones who fear me. Ekra nodded. Then walk forward, child of crossing, and face the fire that will reveal who you truly are. A circle of swirling light formed around Kamau, gold, ember red, shadow black, and deep forest green. Each color pulsed with its own rhythm, each one tugging at a different part of him. Mbala tried to follow, but a gentle wall of force pushed her back. No, let me stay with him, she cried. Ekra's voice softened. The boy must face this path alone, though your love stands with him. Kamau stepped into the circle. Instantly, the world shifted, becoming an endless plane of mirrors made of spirit fire. Each mirror showed a different version of him. As a frightened child, as a warrior with blazing eyes, as a creature of pure shadow, as a guardian towering like a flame god. Voices whispered around him. Choose. Accept. Fear. Embrace. His horn glowed, and his tail dragged along the shimmering floor, leaving trails of sparks. He felt torn between human heart and guardian instinct, between wanting to protect and needing to become what he feared. One mirror showed him as a monster, his tail dripping power that destroyed everything he touched. Another showed him as a protector, standing between worlds, holding the Shadow Taker at bay. Kamau whispered, I'm scared. A voice, his father's, echoed gently. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the bond between fear and purpose. Kamau stood straighter. I don't want to be a monster, but I will not run anymore. The mirrors shattered, exploding into a storm of light, and the circle erupted with force. The rite had begun in full. The swirling fragments of light wrapped around Kamau, forming a vortex that yanked him upward. He cried out, suspended between sky and ground, between past and future. Shapes formed within the vortex, 3 versions of himself. One was the beast, towering, wild-eyed, tail barbed like a spear, horn jagged and dripping with shadow. It roared, embrace power without limits. Let fear make you king. One was the boy, small, frightened, clutching at memories of warmth and village laughter. He whispered, just stay a child. Life was simpler that way. One was the guardian, calm, steady, eyes glowing with purpose, tail curved like a shield. This one said, stand between worlds. Be the bridge. Protect both. Kamau clutched his head as the 3 forms circled him. I'm all of you, but I can't be all at once. The beast lunged. Kamau barely dodged. Its power felt intoxicating. Raw strength, unstoppable force. For a moment, he felt the urge to take it. Then the boy reached for him, pleading, Mama will lose you if you change. Kamau hesitated, his heart twisting painfully. Finally, the guardian stepped forward, placing a hand over Kamau's chest. You need not kill your fear, nor bury your innocence. Balance them, shape them, stand with them. Kamau felt something shift deep within. The horn glowed, his tail lifted with new purpose. I choose all of me, but I choose to guide my power, not be guided by it. The beast snarled, but shrank. The boy sobbed, but steadied. The guardian smiled, proud. And Kamau's true form burst forth like sunrise after storm. Light exploded outward, knocking the shadow taker back and forcing even Ekura to shield its luminous eyes. Mbala rushed forward as the vortex faded. Kamau stood in its center, changed yet still himself. His horn was longer but smooth, glowing with a steady ember light rather than wildfire. His tail had become thicker, braided with lines of energy that shimmered like scales of dawn. His eyes, once only brown, now held flickers of gold and red, like sparks waiting for purpose. Mbala placed a trembling hand on his cheek. "My son, you survived." Kamau leaned into her touch. "I'm still me, Mama, but I understand who I am now." Ekura bowed its great luminous head. "You have done what few guardians, human or spirit, have ever achieved." The shadow taker writhed, struggling against unseen bindings of the echo grounds. "This changes nothing. He is still mine." Kamau turned toward it, his tail lifting defensively. "No," Kamau said quietly. "I'm no longer prey." The air tightened. The echo grounds shimmered. Ekura spoke. "It is time, Kamau. Decide whether to destroy the shadow taker or to bind it forever." Mbala gasped. "Destroy? He is still a child." Kamau shook his head. "I must choose because I can stop this." The shadow taker hissed. "Kill me and become what I am. Spare me, and I return stronger." Kamau's inner fire burned. He closed his eyes, listening to heart and instinct both. When he opened them, he knew exactly what to do. Kamau stepped forward, each footstep ringing with the authority of both boy and guardian. His tail glowed brighter, wrapping around him like a protective serpent. The shadow taker shifted uneasily, sensing something it had not expected. Mercy mixed with power. Kamau raised his hand. "I will not destroy you, because destruction breeds more darkness." The creature snarled in confusion. "But I will not let you roam free, either." He turned to Ekura. "Help me bind it, not in chains, but in purpose." Ekura's light flickered in surprise. "You would bind the darkness as a servant of balance." Kamau nodded. "Darkness has a place. Shadow is needed for light to mean something." The echo grounds trembled, approving. Kamau extended his glowing tail. Energy flowed from it. Not violent, not forceful, but steady like the calm before sunset. The shadow taker howled as threads of glowing dusk wrapped around its smoky form. "No," it groaned. "What are you doing?" Kamau answered softly. "Giving you a reason to exist." The binding tightened. The shadow taker shrank, its monstrous shape dissolving into a smaller, silent spirit of dim twilight. Ekura thundered. Balance is restored. Kamau swayed, exhausted but standing. Mbala ran to him. "My brave child, you chose the path of wisdom." Kamau smiled wearily. "I chose a path where no one needs to be a monster." The echo grounds brightened, colors shifting toward warm gold. A doorway formed, showing the forest of their world. The air smelled of morning rain. Ekura spoke one final time. "Kamau, guardian child, you may return. The village must learn the truth of fear and the power of compassion." Kamau looked uncertain. "They fear me still." Mbala placed a hand on his shoulder. "Then we will teach them together." They stepped through the doorway. Night had just lifted, and villagers had gathered near the forest edge, spears ready. Gasps erupted when they saw Kamau, his horns shining, his tail no longer hidden, his presence calm yet powerful. Mama Kija stepped forward, trembling. "Demon boy, what have you become?" Kamau bowed his head respectfully. "Not demon, not curse. I am Kamau, the one who will protect this village if you let me." The villagers murmured, uncertain, fearful. Then old Jem, leaning on his staff, approached. "I see no demon. I see a boy who faced darkness within and without. That is more courage than most men carry." Others slowly lowered their weapons. Kamau released a small twilight spirit, the bound shadow taker, into the air. It drifted harmlessly, no longer a predator. Mbala spoke loudly. Fear makes enemies where none exist. Love reveals truth. The villagers bowed their heads. And so the tale of Kamau spread across generations, carried on drumbeats and fireside whispers. Moral: fear shapes monsters from shadows, but wisdom shapes guardians from children who choose compassion over power. Thank you for watching till the end. If this tale moved you, surprised you, or kept you wanting more, please like, comment, and share this video. And don't leave without subscribing. Your support keeps these stories alive. Subscribe now, join the tribe, and let the next legend begin.